Welcome back to another episode of Reelz Mealz. In this episode, we'll be shooting some fish, poking some taco, finding some sick shells, and having a good time over this winter break. Let's get on into it. We'll be looking at two of the dives that I did over this break with my friends. And here's our first drop in about 35, I'd say, feet. And make my way to the bottom. And right when I'm about to hit the bottom, I look up and I spot this nice uku already kind of near me. You can see him on the right side and he's moving around. And then I give a couple grunts and he comes right up to me and I line up and I absolutely miss. Guys, I don't know what's been going on, but maybe my shaft is bent, but I swear I was right on this thing. And what better way to start off the day than absolute tragedy, heartbreak. And after I shot, just listen to the whales laughing at me. Yeah, just a bummer to start off the day. And I just had to live with that in the back of my mind for the rest of the dive, that I just missed what would have been probably my PB uku. So, flush that out of my mind, bounce back, take another drop here in about 40 feet. I get to the bottom and not seeing anything yet, but I decide to dust, grunt a little bit, look around, you see some vekes, some yellow tangs, and then right here I hit some grunts and I see this uku, a smaller uku coming in from the distance, and I have my eyes locked in on this thing trying to bring it in, and from my right, boom, stripers, nice ones, maybe like 4 or 5 pounders. And they actually gave me that shot, but I wasn't looking the right direction and I had to swing my gun over. So here I slowly start to swing over, but they don't want a part of it. They're just cruising in the distance, checking me out from the distance. They're not gonna come any closer. So I really push myself to try and hope they can come back in, but I decided I've got to go up for air. You can see there's another Munu with them. There was maybe like 5 or 6 of them, and I'd say they're all around 4 pounds. Would have been real nice to shoot, but yeah, I kind of pushed myself, and you can tell I'm kind of hustling to the surface right here. So a couple drops later, as I moved down the coast, didn't really see much, so I started heading back the other way, and I came back to the same spot that I missed the uku. And I get down to the bottom here, and I quickly realized there's 2 nice Munus coming in from the murk. And after missing that uku and knowing that I had a party coming up, I figured I better nail one of these Munus. So you can see one swimming right there in front. And then his buddy comes around. They're cruising. I'm just waiting patiently for a good shot. And right here they come up in. And boom, I nailed this Munu. Finally got something. So he tries to run to the reef a little bit right here, but I just take my time, pull him out, make sure he kind of get wrapped up, and I swim him to the surface. Nice to land something. And my idea for this guy is to probably bake him and yeah, throw him in the oven, make something delicious for the party. Luckily, we have something to eat. One down. So as I start making my way in, I take this drop a little bit shallower, maybe 25, 30 feet. And I look up and I see this nice little uku, maybe about a 1 pounder. But I'm not planning on shooting him. Hopefully they can get bigger, but just nice to see tame fish. And after looking at this video, looking back at when I missed the uku, maybe I should have waited for him to come as close as this one did, especially since the uku came in right when I hit the bottom. I had a lot of time, and I guess I just rushed. That could have been the game changer for me. I'm not really seeing anything I want to shoot on this drop, so I head on over to the spot where I know there should be a moo pile. So I take the drop here in like 25-30 feet again, and I make my way to the bottom. And I know the moves are out there, so I just put my head down and dust, scratch the rocks a little bit, pretend I'm like something eating, like crabs. And there's like some opelucalas. I was thinking about maybe nailing one of those, go with the Munu, but I can see the moves starting to come in, and the one actually comes pretty close here. But I'm looking at the one in the back, that back right. He's maybe about a 3.5, 4 pounder. And I make a move, and I decide I'm gonna do a lunge just to nail this close one because the other one is too far. And I miss. I don't know, guys, but I swear I was straight on this one too. It might be that my shaft is bent, or it might just be that I suck, but let's just get on to the next dive. So, second dive, day after, and this time I'm with my Uncle Peter, and we're looking for some taco. And right when we hop in, we get lucky. I spot this taco being chased by a moana, and he goes and hides under this rock, and I start to try and poke him out, but he has a lot of room to move under there, so I thought he was going to come out this side of the hole, and he probably would have if I didn't try to grab him too early, but he ends up being smart and moves back to the other side of the hole, and I just ran out of breath, had to go back up, and my Uncle Peter went down to finish the job for me. So he goes down, assesses the situation, starts putting the pressure back on this taco, and yeah, he moves over to the right side, but can't escape Uncle Peter. And you get him out, and we start the day with a nice taco, maybe around just about a pound. And yeah, when I'm diving for taco for bait, I usually just put him in the bag, but this time I decided I was gonna give him the bite, kill him, and put him on my belt buoy. So yeah, the easiest way to dispatch a taco is a quick bite in between the eyes and crush their brain, and you can tell you got them when they turn white. And not long after, Uncle Peter finds his first taco of the day, and it was giving him a hard time as well, so this is me going down to finish the job for him. And I just keep the pressure on this taco. I don't really stab him, just a light tickle to get him irritated enough to want to come out of his hole. And then he comes out, you grab him. But we decided this guy was just under a pound, so we let him go. So we swam out a little deeper, and we noticed some nice ninuis swimming around this area, so I decided to just take a drop and see if I could bring one in to shoot for my papa. He loves to make ninui poke. So I get to the bottom here in around 15 feet, and as you can see, there's these nice kulavekes, beautiful kumu, some moanas, some kalas and palanis in the distance, some smaller ninuis, ta'apes, and then kumu comes back with 2 of his friends. And I always love to see kumus in the water. They're just such a beautiful fish, and there's not a lot of them nowadays, so it's good to just let them swim and watch them. It's always nice to see lots of life like this, even if you don't have to shoot anything. Just to see a healthy ecosystem is always a good feeling. So I head back up and continue on. So we push farther out, finding some better depth, and we decide to bust out our flasher rig that we carry along with us. And right when Uncle Peter dropped the flasher rig, this taco that both of us actually didn't really see initially, was we seen it following our flasher rig and actually going for it, thinking it was some sort of food. So Uncle Peter takes a drop on it and picks up his first legal taco of the day. And as I was swimming around, I spotted what looked to be a cone shell, and sure enough, it is a leopard cone. And I usually don't take these guys because they're you usually find them live, or they don't really have the spots, but this one I noticed still had quite a bit of spots, and I knew that if I just cleaned it up a little bit, it would probably still come out cherry. So I just made sure it was empty. You can see the sand falling out. That's kind of a sign that it's empty, but I take a good look and I decided to go put it back on my float. And after I came back from putting the shell on my float, I seen Uncle Peter at the bottom lining up on something, and I seen in the distance it was an uku. So right here, he takes a shot and nails him. So I swim over there quickly, just in case he needs a backup shot. So I take a drop to look, and I can see that his shot is pretty good, near the center of the body. So I decided it doesn't need a backup shot, and yeah, Uncle Peter lands a nice uku. Sashimi, not a big one, but still a nice eating size, and like again, good start to our dive. So this next drop here, I noticed some wanakalis in the distance, and I'm looking for something to go with that Munu in the steamer. So I take the drop, I put some dust, hoping they would come in from the distance, and sure enough they do. And as they come closer, I realize they're not really the biggest, maybe a pound, little over a pound wanakalis. And I decide I'm just gonna wait for something bigger, something a little bit better. So we head farther out into about 40-45 feet, and we come across this spot that looks like it's holding shells. And sure enough, I go down and come back up with 2 sunrises. And actually one of these looks like it could be albino, something I've seen before in videos but just never thought I'd ever find one. So I was like super psyching on this. So we head on shallower, and this is the first time I've ever seen our stingray. And I knew we had him in Hawaii, but I just never seen one in person, so I thought I had to get a video of him. Super cool. And right here, Uncle Peter spots his second taco of the day, but he was having a hard time clearing his ears after we were both in the depth, and I went to go take a drop, and I actually had problems with my ears too. So we're both at the surface clearing out our galas or whatever, and then I was able to take a drop and pick up this taco, help him out a little bit. Then yeah, this is a nice one, maybe around 2 pounds. And I give him the bite, and then give him to Uncle Peter to throw on his kui. So when I go to bite taco, usually when I bring them out of their hole, the first thing they'll do is grab onto you. Like when you grab their head, they're usually gonna grab your arms, and it will leave their eyes out for you to bite. And instead of trying to bite from straight on from the top of its head, what I do is I make sure to get one of the eyes inside my mouth so that my teeth will be directly lined up over the brain and under the brain, so that when I crunch down, it should be directly on the brain. You're going to be able to feel like a hard ball, and that's what you want to crunch down on. But make sure that you don't crunch down on the eye, because I've done it before and the eye will like pop and explode in your mouth, and it's like the nastiest thing ever. So just gotta be careful. I hope you guys like my stupid drawing. I didn't get to record one of Uncle Peter's other tacos, so now he has 3, and I was like, oh, I gotta catch up. So luckily I was able to find my second taco of the day, and this guy was our bigger one of the day, coming in around 2.5-3 pounds. So nothing crazy, but a nice one. And I'm catching up with Uncle Peter. I give him the bite on my way up, and yeah. And not long after this taco, Uncle Peter took a drop and spotted a good old Galapagos. And he's a pretty big one, maybe around 8-9 feet big for a Galapagos. And luckily he was just kind of cruising in the distance. He came check out our float, but we seen him and we decided it's better to head on in before he gets too excited and comes for us. And a lot of people say that you shouldn't use a belt kui because you don't want the shark to come up and eat your butt. But me and Uncle Peter kind of think that since that's on your belt, you might have a better chance that they're not brave enough to want to come all the way up to you. And we think that if our fish were on our float, we'd probably have a better chance at being taxed. So right here, as we're swimming in, I find one last taco, and I decide I'm not going to leave him behind just because I see a shark. So I go down and poke him out, but he gives me a hard time, so Uncle Peter goes down to finish the job, and my job while he's down there is just to keep an eye on that shark, see if he comes back, and make sure Uncle Peter's alright while he gets the taco. I like to do this sort of tag team diving so that you're not using so much energy. You can kind of rely on your partner a little bit. So I give this guy the quick bite, throw him on the cuy, and we head on in, keeping an eye on this Galapagos. And he's smart, he'll stay in the distance to where we can't see him. So actually at one point we thought he was going to leave us alone, but as we got closer into the shore, we spotted him again, so we decided, yep, that's the end of our dive. But no reason to complain, because what Uncle Peter always prays for before the dive is what we need and a little bit of what we want, and that's what we got. So still blessed to get what we got, and yeah, we're stoked. You can kind of see him in the distance over there, that bugger. We finished with 6 taco, 1 uku, some 6 shells, and Uncle Peter's first ever sunrise. Let me know if any of you guys have ever seen a white sunrise like this, and it's not even faded, it's just like just white. So back in my grandma's house now, getting ready for the party. And since I didn't shoot anything on the second dive, Uncle Peter was nice enough to give me one of his Munus that he shot on a previous dive, so it was perfect. So my plan in mind for these Munus is to try this new recipe that Uncle Ikaika showed me. We're gonna bake them in the oven, and instead of doing the regular Chinese style, we're gonna use some mayo and kind of make it like a dynamite. And the first thing you want to do is preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Okay, so we take our Munus. What I like to do is just get some slits, and this is where we're gonna throw all of our ginger and lapchong and whatever else you like. Then the next step is salt and pepper. So first, salts.
Try to open them.
Nah, I don't like them to come out too quick. That's right. It's just the perfect amount you like this, so you keep them closed. Comes up. And that will go down there. Okay, so we want to put onion and use it as our bed under our fish. So if you go ahead and find a round onion, probably have an open onion in your fridge already. And what is going to be the best way to cut this? Kind of want like strips like this. Majority of this under our fish, so it's gonna be like a bed. Our fish are gonna sit on the onions. Okay, now we have our lapchong. What was that you saying, Papa? There you go. I like to cut them kind of diagonal. Make them little longer pieces. Okay, so our next step is we're gonna stuff our Munus. So this is ginger that I already had cut into strips, and basically what you're gonna do, you're just gonna go ahead and stuff the ginger into our Munu. It's not a whole, like there's not a lot of meat on these Munu, so you don't need to put a whole lot of ginger, because ginger is pretty strong as well. Strong flavor. So like that one, I'm only gonna put one, but I try to get some ginger in every slit. Also doesn't help that I cut these slits a little bit too diagonal. So I'm not coming from the angle for cutting. That's right. And then also put some lap tongues in there. Just like that. So I get the lap tongue and the ginger, and we flip them over. Whoop. Do the same thing. Something. Now that we got it good, I like to throw some in the stomach. The belly.
Oh, you gotta do the other fish too.
Yeah, I go eat. I'll wait. Be patient. Some presents in there. And then, that's enough ginger. Don't want to be too much strong ginger flavor. Oh, okay, now I see what you're talking about.
You gotta do the other fish too.
See, that's why it's good. Maybe instead of switching between the fish, you do one at a time. I gotta take back what I had. Okay, so our sauce is simply just gonna be mayonnaise. I like to use Kewpie mayo, but if you don't have Kewpie mayo, then you just gotta use what you got. Regular mayo, kind of generous. Should be good. Second ingredient, oyster sauce. See, it's pretty good. Okay. Now, all we're gonna do is just bomb them. Over. Do the other side as well. Whoop. Bring home. Same thing on the other side. Bang. Then we go with our onions. Throw them over. Just like that. So the last step, because these fish might only need about a cup of water. Yep, that's kind of it up. Send it on through, around there, equal it up kind of. And that's the water you're gonna need to steam the fish. Just like that. And then, our oven is preheated, so probably you can...
Tin foil, I'm gonna try to put the tin foil on top.
Yeah, I got a tin foil.
You put them in the oven, and how long you cook them for?
We're gonna do 45 minutes at, or maybe 30, 35, yeah, 40 minutes. 40 minutes at 400. These are kind of smaller fish. going to go too much. Okay. Bad kitchen practice. I preheat the oven without checking if anything was in there. Terrible etiquette, or not etiquette, but just not good. There you go, throw them in there. And we'll set a timer on our phone for 40 minutes. Should be cherry. So we'll put it a little bit early because we're gonna end up broiling it to finish. So,
Move the kind up. You gotta move the kind to the top level.
that'll be the highest one now.
Yeah, second one.
Okay. Yeah, we gotta make sure that our fish is cooked all the way through. Fish is cooked all the way through. A little bit too much water I put. But that's kind of what I was thinking. Oh, half the tail came off. But we're gonna finish it. Wait, I'm gonna change it when I put it on. Slide them in there. And you got it on broil, so it should be pretty quick.
Still boiling?
Yeah, so now that your fish is in the oven and your oven's set on broil, you should just keep watching it. Stay there and watch it until it looks like the meal has crusted up and browned up nicely, and then you can pull it and it should be done. Papa had some extra limes laying around, so he wanted to show me something cool, and this ended up being the perfect touch to put on these Munus, and tasted great when I ate it. So mental. So this was our final product, and yeah, I think I put a little bit too much water, so maybe 1 cup is fine. And yeah, I just ended up draining the excess water and it came out mean.
You really have a YouTube channel?
I do. These were the 2 alpaca I was steamed for New Year's a couple days earlier. And yeah, this is the other way I like to steam my fish, the Chinese style with the peanut oil. And this is usually how I steam all my fish until Uncle Tako showed me this killer recipe. Boom. Lights out. And here's just a couple clips of how I celebrated my New Year's with the family.
Happy New Year's, bro. I love you, bro.
And I know it's gonna be a lovely day.
That's the best practicing in the back, guys.
Roses are red, canaries are tweedy, lemons are sour, and you're to my sweetie. So I walk the highest mountains and I sail the deep blue sea. Una porta de gracia, mamita tía,